Imagine stumbling upon an ancient graveyard where every single victim met a tragically early end. Well, today in this explainer, we're diving straight into a chilling 1.8 million-year-old forensic crime scene that actually holds the ultimate secret to human survival. Because that is exactly what researchers faced when they started looking at the remains of one of our very earliest ancestors. By treating these ancient, fossilized remains exactly like a modern true crime investigation, we uncover a terrifying mystery about our origins. We aren't just looking at old bones today, guys. We are literally reading the ultimate survival story, one that's written in the DNA of a creature that, honestly, was never supposed to make it.
So, let's get into part 1, the 1.8 million-year-old mystery, uncovering our origins. Picture this. It's November 1960. In the scorching heat of Tanzania. Researchers are digging into the earth and they uncover a jawbone right alongside 21 fingerbone pieces belonging to an ancient victim. Now, because the finger structure suggested they could make tools, scientists named this creature Homo habilis, which translates to handyman. What's absolutely fascinating here is the sheer evolutionary leap. These creatures had brain sizes ranging from 600 to 710 cubic centimeters. To put that in perspective, that is way larger than your average chimpanzee, which sits at about 400 cc. This bigger brain hinted at advanced motor skills and complex movements, like crafting primitive weapons. But as we'll see, a bigger brain didn't exactly protect them from whatever was hunting them out there.
Because early autopsies of these first few skeletons revealed a brutal reality. Their wrist bones showed growth plates that hadn't fully fused yet, and their wisdom teeth hadn't even erupted. Forensic analysis pointed to a truly heartbreaking conclusion. These tool-making creatures were dying incredibly young. We're talking right around 12 to 15 years old. So the big question was this just an isolated incident, or were we looking at a species-wide massacre?
Moving on to part 2, the terrifying secrets in teeth, a dental autopsy.
Okay, so to crack this case wide open, paleoanthropologist Laura Monica Martinez led a completely groundbreaking study over at the University of Barcelona. She gathered 116 permanent teeth from 20 different Homo habilis victims to conduct a high-tech forensic dental autopsy. By measuring microscopic scratches on the cheek side of the teeth and calculating an enamel erosion rate of 2.21 millimeters per year for canines, scientists were able to cross-verify the data with historical and genetic records. They basically extracted highly precise life data out of these teeth. It's literally like pulling files off a million-year-old hard drive. And the data? It revealed a horrifying conclusion. The average lifespan across all 20 victims was a mere 12.8 years. Out of all the fossils found, absolutely 0 specimens made it past the age of 25. No way, right? And remember, this is actually a generous average. It doesn't even account for the massive infant mortality rate, simply because the fragile bones of toddlers rarely survive fossilization. Basically, they were being wiped out before they even had a chance to grow up.
Which brings us to part 3, a cruel change in nature, the environmental motive.
So, why the mass slaughter? Well, let's look at how the environment played a massive role here. If we jump back 7 million years, our earliest ape-like relatives were living comfortably in lush, green, safe forests. But then, nature turned incredibly cruel. Tectonic plates shifted. The dawn of the Ice Age brought a devastating 5 degrees Celsius temperature drop. Those lush forests completely dried up. By 2.5 million years ago, 70% of their safe, tree-covered paradise had transformed into a highly dangerous, wide-open savanna. This sudden devastation perfectly demonstrates a concept called punctuated equilibrium. It basically proves that evolution isn't always this slow, comfortable, steady march forward. Often, it is violently forced by rapid environmental shifts. Homo habilis was abruptly stripped of its forest cover and thrust out into an open battlefield. They were forced to adapt almost overnight or face total extinction. And sadly, Homo habilis was caught completely off guard. They had a rather, half-baked anatomy. They were awkwardly stuck in the middle of 2 entirely different worlds. They still had curved fingers for climbing, but they also had flat feet for walking. Their shoulder blades were caught right between the upward angle of a tree-swinging ape and the downward drop of a modern human runner. So they ended up being clumsy climbers and completely unstable runners. They were pretty much the ultimate evolutionary klutz.
It was a grim reality. Standing barely 4 feet tall and totally lacking the spring-foot arches that give modern humans our endurance, their top speed was a dismal 20 to 25 kilometers per hour. Out in the middle of an open grassland, without sharp claws or giant fangs to fight back,
They were effectively defenseless.
This leads into part 4, the monsters of that era, facing the apex predators. Defenseless against what exactly? Well, we are talking about an era that featured not just 5 or 6, but 14 apex predators roaming those open plains. And these weren't just animals, they were absolute monsters. The Mazbach lion weighed a staggering 500 kilos and hunted in highly coordinated packs. Then you had the Meganterion, a saber-toothed nightmare equipped with 5-inch teeth built for surgical strikes right to the neck. Oh, and the Dinofelis? That was a specialized primate killer with teeth perfectly designed to crush skulls in a single bite. Against beasts moving twice their top speed, Homo habilis didn't stand a chance. And look, we aren't just guessing here. The forensic evidence is undeniable. Skeletons from this era are covered in literal crime scene injuries. Researchers have found crocodile bite marks on foot bones from when they desperately tried to drink water. We see leopard punctures on leg bones from being dragged right out of trees. We've even found talon marks from giant crowned eagles on the skulls of toddlers. On land, in the water, or up in the trees, literally nowhere was safe.
All right, part 5, cooperation became our true strength, the turning point. So how on earth did these tiny, heavily hunted, 4-foot-tall creatures turn this total nightmare into the foundation of human dominance? The answer is both brilliant and desperate. Remember that growing 700 cubic centimeter brain we talked about earlier? Well, brains are incredibly energy hungry. To fuel them in a barren grassland where all the vegetation was dying off, Homo habilis was forced into a high-risk diet. Up to 30% of their intake shifted to meat and bone marrow. But they weren't the hunters. They had to scavenge from the very apex predators that were hunting them.
Just imagine the absolute terrifying bravery this took. Executing a heist on a giant predator's kill? Impossible to do alone. It demanded an intense, life-or-death level of group coordination. One group literally had to distract a giant saber-toothed cat, while the others rushed in to smash bones with rocks, steal the calorie-rich marrow, and escape as a unified unit before they became dessert.
And this absolute necessity to work together, it sparked a physical revolution right inside their heads. The constant need for coordination during these incredibly dangerous heists stimulated the physical development of the Broca's area in their brains. This specific region laid the essential groundwork for primitive communication, gestures, and eventually language itself. Cooperation literally rewired our ancestors' brains.
Their brutal struggle directly catalyzed our evolution. The communication and teamwork forged in the fires of the Pleistocene allowed Homo habilis to eventually evolve into the much more advanced Homo erectus. And it was Homo erectus who would go on to master fire, grow taller, run faster, and ultimately carry our entire lineage out of Africa to conquer the globe.
This leaves us with a truly profound realization. Human dominance wasn't born from physical strength, sharp claws, or giant teeth. It was born from an ancient, crippling vulnerability. Because we were the absolute weakest creatures on the savannah, we were forced to invent teamwork, tool-making, and scientific instincts simply to survive another day.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to ponder. If our greatest strengths, our brains, our languages, our complex societies, were forged by ultimate danger and extreme hardship, are we losing our evolutionary edge in today's incredibly comfortable world? Keep that in mind next time you face a really difficult challenge. It might just be exactly what you need to grow. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you in the next one.